We need to talk about Shavel's cousin Demark. As many of you may remember, Demark was featured in Shavel's first season, and it seemed like he was always by her side. A lot of people appreciated him because he always seemed to be the voice of reason in Shavel's life, telling her advice when it came to Quaylen. It looks like Demark isn't so perfect either, and he has quite a few different skeletons in his closet, according to a few different female sources who slid into my inbox revealing their experiences with Demark, and they also revealed the real reason why Demark and Shavel ended up falling out. Both of these women were extremely fearful of Demark finding out that they share their stories with me. So I do kind of have to be vague when I do share some details, and to try to protect them and not have Demark, try to go pull up on them and do anything crazy. So I have spoken with both of these women. I made sure I confirmed their stories and saw as many receipts as possible. And I have seen legitimate receipts from both parties confirming that they have seen Demark and hung out with him in the past. And I know a lot more than what I'm sharing in this video. But like I said, out of protecting them, there's only so much I can share. Both women shared horrifying details about Demark putting hands on them and even blackmailing and extorting both of them, and they both accused him of being a romance scammer, kind of similar to Michael's manager Mocha Blast we've been speaking on recently. And according to these sources, they say that he likes to reach out to women he meets on social media, and he likes to spend weekends with them to execute his premeditated scam to scam women under the guise of a romantic relationship. Demark did about 7-8 years in prison, and then he got out, and then he got arrested again in 2017 for transporting marijuana across state lines. And allegedly, according to both my sources, they claim that's how Demark makes a living for himself. So he's currently on probation from these charges from 2017, which restrict him from leaving the state of Texas. But both my sources claim that Demark just waits until his probation officer is in an office over the weekend. My source claimed that once Friday hit, once the PO was out of office, that's when he would do all his traveling, and he would make sure he would be back by Monday before his PO was back in her office. So he would go travel and see different women over the weekends, and multiple women received business propositions from Demark, where he pretty much told these girls, like, look, I'm really good with money, I know how to hustle. He went to both of these females and told them that he had a trucking business, when in reality that was just a lie. And according to both of them, they claim that he really just, transports weed across state lines, but he was trying to act like he's actually a trucker to try to explain why he's traveling all the time and always on the road. And he told both these women, look, I know how to hustle, I know how to flip money. So he was trying to talk these women into investing money, and they thought it was under the premise that they're investing into this trucking business. And he claimed, just give me a little bit of time, I'm going to triple it, and I'm going to come back, I'm going to give you most of the profit, and I'll just keep a little cut for myself. And so I know one of these girls ended up giving him thousands of dollars, and she thought she was going to get paid back in a week or two. And she claimed that he never paid her back. And the other girl said that he asked for the money, but she never ended up giving it to him because she just didn't have it at the time. The woman who ended up investing thousands into this business, she claimed that her and Demark ended up getting into a fight after she dropped thousands, and after that fight, she realized that he had stolen over $5,000 out of one of her purses. So on top of the money she invested into him, he also stole $5,000 from her. And she claimed that he actually opened up to her about what happened with him and Shavel. Because I've always wondered what happened, because it seemed like Shavel and Demark were so close during their season, and they lived together, and then the apartment caught on fire. Then it seems like right after that happened, they had a falling out, And Shavel came out and said, look, I'm not going to go into detail about what happened between me and my cousin because that's still family at the end of the day, and I'm not going to expose him like that. So when the fire happened, it was electrical fire. And I remember seeing the Ring camera footage that the neighbors ended up sharing with Shavel or Demark. Somebody shared it on social media. And it shows Demark rushing outside and carrying all his belongings while you can hear the fire alarm going off in the background and all the smoke, and he's trying to save all his stuff. But then it came out that Shavel had just bought 2 puppies, and both of those dogs were inside the apartment, and they had unfortunately passed away. And I felt like maybe that's why they had a falling out. But according to my source, they claim that the reason why the dogs didn't get help is they claim that Demark was actually sleeping on the couch when the fire happened, and he was the only one home besides the 2 dogs. And apparently when he was home alone, he didn't like to be all up in the mix with the 2 dogs. He wanted the 2 dogs to be out of his way because he said otherwise they're always jumping on him and messing with him. So when Shavel wasn't there, she would lock the dogs in her room. So she had the dogs locked in her room, and apparently when the fire started, it was electrical fire, and it ended up starting in her apartment room where the dogs were. So apparently Demark was home alone sleeping on the couch, and he got a call from the neighbor who saw the smoke coming out of the apartment. They're like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, I don't know, what are you talking about? And then he realized that electrical fire was going on, and he said he just started grabbing his stuff and leaving. But he said that the fire had gotten so big at that point in Shavel's room, and that's where the dogs were. And he said he honestly forgot that the dogs were in there since the door was shut. And he claims that it would have put his life in danger if he would have tried to save the 2 dogs. Now for why Shavel and Demark allegedly fell out. So according to my sources, they claim that, after this fire happened, Shavel ended up starting a GoFundMe. She raised some money, and then it was pretty much the building's fault that the fire happened since it was electrical fire, and she had renter's insurance. And then Shavel ended up getting a nice fat check from the insurance company. And according to my sources, they claim that Shavel, Quaylen, and Demark were all living with each other. Shavel is the only one that got the payout from the insurance company, and they claim that Demark is upset and he cut Shavel off because when Shavel got that check, she didn't give Demark a single dime. She allegedly gave Quaylen a nice chunk of the money and she took the rest, but Demark didn't get a dime. And he's like, look, I got almost all my stuff ruined except for a few different things that he was able to save, but 99% of his stuff he lost, and he was upset because here's Shavel getting a check and she's not breaking no bread with him to help replace his items. I'm not sure how much Demark was contributing, but I just feel like, if it's Shavel's place and it's all her furniture, then she should take a big chunk of the check. But I feel like she should have broke him off something, maybe not as much as her, but she should have broke off Demark something before she broke off Quaylen something. But I'm sure there's more to that story, and one thing that Demark cares about more than anything in this world is his money, and he just could not deal with messing with Shavel anymore after that, and they fell out, and they haven't really talked since. He's defended her a little bit since all this Quaylen drama recently, and he jumped on Gio Malik's live the other day with Shavel and was defending her, and he said, look, even though I don't F with my cousin anymore, I'm still going to defend her when it comes to this loser Quaylen. And Demark, he actually had dated this girl for, I don't know, they dated for at least probably 3, 4, 6 months. He was dating this real pretty brown hair girl for a while, and it seemed like they were perfect for each other. It literally seemed like they were soulmates because these two had so much in common. They're always wearing matching outfits, they're wearing matching shoes, they even had matching Rolexes, and it seemed like they really got along great. They're always going out and doing things. I want to say he even proposed too, but I'm not 100% sure, but he was spending a pretty penny on this girl, and it looked like he was really feeling her. So I was surprised when I saw that they had suddenly broke up a few months ago, and he quit tagging her. He deleted all the pictures he had with her. And it just seemed like, okay, what the hell happened with these two? And so one of my sources who shared this information with me, they actually reached out to his ex because they wanted to warn his ex, like, hey, if you're thinking about getting back together with him, I don't recommend it because this is what he did to me. And she's like, there's plenty of other victims out there too. Like I said, I got a lot of receipts from my sources, but I have to be careful how much I share so there's no identifying details. But I was able to share this message from the ex that one of my sources messaged. And the ex said, I don't know what he did before me, and it's not any of my business, but I'm not a victim. He didn't use me for anything, and our relationship was real. It's just happened, and we separated. You're one of many who has decided to reach out to me. I don't have anything negative to say about him, not because I'm naive or delusional. We are where we are now. What version of him everyone else got isn't the version I got. And no one else will get the same version of him that I did. And like I said, I feel like he really genuinely cared about this girl. And maybe that's why she got a better version of him. And maybe that's why he was just such a terrible person when it came to these other girls. Because it really seemed like he had other intentions with these girls, to just use them and scam them out of as much money as possible. And, you know, she says right here, his ex admits, yes, there has been other females on top of this girl. And she said, you're one of many. Not just one of two, not one of three, you're one of many. So no telling how many other victims are out there, because I've heard from 2 victims. Here's the ex saying that there's other victims out there. Well, I mean, she didn't specifically say victims, but that's how I'm interpreting it, because she's saying you're one of many who's reached out to me. And I'm assuming if these girls are reaching out to the ex like that, then they're reaching out to her to warn her, especially since she's talking about it with this girl who decided to reach out to her. That's how she's kind of referencing it. And here's some different things that Demark has posted where he says, 12K in 6.5 weeks ain't too bad. Still waiting on this 14K, and I never got money from that fire. My mama raised me different, all legal. So here he is admitting he never got no money from that fire, and this is right after Shavel ended up getting this money, I guess, apparently from the insurance company, and they had that falling out. And just beware, guys. Beware, because he likes to blackmail, he likes to extort, he likes to threaten people and put his hands on women, allegedly. And you just gotta be careful when it comes to this man. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Let me know if you guys have had any experiences with Demark before, similar to these women. If you have and you want to share your story, then message me on Instagram, or you can email me. My email is in the description. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.